Arcee. We gotta get this launcher into place. Megatron's making his big push, and we gotta push back!
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the missing link, Arcee, and the prototype variation of Arcee. And it's pretty cool that they made these. The fact that we never got an Arcee back in the day because Hasbro thought girl toys wouldn't sell, and they probably were right. They're probably not wrong. Probably would have been the lowest selling figure of '86, but with that, as adult collectors, we want this kind of stuff. So this is exactly how to deliver this. And Arcees have been very popular in the past. And with that, let's get into taking a look at these. I think it's at Shozy Store. Now I'm going to have a link down below where you can get both of these. I think they're about 85 bucks. And they definitely are worth it to a collector that would never have gotten these unless you get the missing link ones. So anyway, TH, support the reviewer, helps the channel out. Let's get into looking at these, transforming these up, and doing some awesome comparisons coming up. Here's the packaging, and they both look very sort of G1-esque, and of course they're not in English, which would have been nice for US collectors, but they're not targeting US market, meaning that we can get a Megatron, no problem. No problem getting a Megatron because it's going to be in this kind of packaging. There it is. There's the G1. Here's the prototype version. And it actually looks a whole lot like, which if I could dig it out, almost exactly like how they did them back in the day with iGear and Apostle Toys and all those. Here they are out of the package. I do think they shine in the alt mode. The alt mode looks great. Before we get into that, though, sticking with the packaging, you remember when we were kids, like the styrofoam was just some cheap throwaway stuff, right? Nowadays, it's high-end, very hard to get, almost impossible to get. Everybody wants the styrofoam, and there it is. It's got styrofoam. But looking at this, now, first thing I want to admit is I'm shocked they only gave you one gun with each because she's known for dual-wielding guns. That's kind of a thing. And I know they're wanting to be G1, but this is missing link, and the second gun on each would have been nice. And kind of expected. I kind of expected to because every RC these days comes with two, and these have die-cast. They feel like they got die-cast in these parts here. So, or at least mine just felt really cold to the touch. She packs up in there pretty nice. Yeah, nice looking figure overall. And the alt mode is definitely an absolute win. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as some of these Masterpiece ones and stuff that we've been seeing since then, because it is still based on a prototype design. And maybe even enhanced and improved slightly from that design. But pretty good. So there's quite a few colors going on with this. And yeah, the prototype. I'm sure they would have made the actual figure look closer to this than this. So that's just how that goes. But they both roll pretty nice. And got that little hover look going on. Kind of like Kenner tried to do with their speeder, land speeder. But that works pretty well. Of course, Kenner had a spring in it, so it would kind of bounce around too. So that was different. You can store the weapon on either side of it if you want to, and it's got a nice little windshield. And they're different colors from the toy is blue, the tune. Toy is blue, tune is clear. Let's get into comparisons. All right, so here they are. In comparison to, this is like the 30th anniversary, but it's KO oversized. It'll get the job done, so you can see the difference in the aesthetic. That this one probably does look nicer than this one, but again, they are still holding true to the prototype, which works for me. And the 1986 crew, we've got her boyfriend Springer, her other boyfriend Hot Rod, and then we've got Cup, Old Man Cup, and then Blur, who's probably transformed wrong. I don't think his head is supposed to be visible head syndrome. But I've got to work on that a little bit. But there it is. That's what it looks like with the 86 crew. And this is how she looks on a Masterpiece Ultra Magnus. Yeah, I guess I should get a G1, but I just got this one handy. I thought it'd be fun. Here she is in her bod mode, but how did we get here? Do you even transform, bro? Yes, we are going to transform her. All right, so here it is. Take the gun out, the only single gun. Close this down. We're going to open this back flap up, and then we are going to rotate it up all the way here. Then we are going to untab the arms, which make the sides here. And that's going to be fun. Then we can bring the legs down. And then what we'll do is rock this piece here up into it to make the legs shorter the way they should be. Now this is the part that all the initial early pictures, and I might knock her over by all the movement here, but when you pull this down, you need to pull it down and snap it into place. So a lot of people, they had it looking, let's see here, like this. I don't see if you can see the difference, but a lot of them looked like this. And I knew there was like an extra little bit to go to get it done. I knew there was going to be something like that. I talked about it in a lot of my videos. Not saying it looks amazingly good like that, but anyway, straighten this foot out. And she is going to be a little, what do you call it? Is it pigeon-toed? Where the lower legs are kind of going out. It's not straight up and down. It looks a little strange. But, hey, it's the original design. Next, we're going to lift up the waist piece. Don't waste the time. And then we're going to fold this all the way over. Nice that her head's flat, so there's less to have to deal with. And then it just tabs in. And then arms work. And, you know, it's really cool. She does have heel spurs. Yes, heel spurs. I don't know if it's painted or not. I know the foot's painted. So you got to be careful not to scratch the foot. I don't think the actual tab itself is. And there we go. And she is transformed up. Took 2 minutes, 25 seconds. See, I missed you one, in a way. Here are both of them transformed up, and I think that they look really good, actually. For what they are, prototype, I'm excited to have this. We're going to see these compared to the original vintage ones. And there's no way the prototype would have like made it out as a prototype. I really think the most popular version of these two is going to be the actual G1 looking one. I wished, and I would have taken extra, but I wish there would have been a way to kind of get the hips in a little bit more narrower. They are some wide hips, but just, I mean, even for the show, they weren't that wide on her. But anyway, speaking of butt, look at the back, and quite kibbly. Definitely, I think it would have been a good toy. I think people would have had a lot of fun with it. And you can see the rub sign already activated because of the fact that it's... my hands are hot. And I'm touching all this. And this flat back head. And yeah, it looks pretty cool. It does look like a fun release that we had missed from all these years. And some of us that... Well, I never even knew it was a thing. Would I have bought it back in the day? No, but, you know... Back in the day, I didn't even have a hot rod. I didn't have Springer. I didn't have all the ones we're going to compare. Had none of them as a kid. So I wouldn't have had this as a kid. I think I was more into still tracing down the earlier characters more than buying the new ones. So that's where I was. And I think that's where Transformers was, trying to get a whole new generation of kids into it as other kids aged out. And the new generation of kids probably would have liked this. And yeah. Pretty cool. And it's one of those things as an adult collector, I bet you it would have been hard to get a good one in good condition if they had made these back in the day. Probably would have cost more than this Missing Link version. Let's check out this articulation. You've got the head, it goes up and down, and I don't, side to side, okay, it's real tight. Really nice paint too. Really nice head sculpt. It really works. Shoulders, I can't get this to go out further than this. I'm not going to try. You do have the elbow, and that's what that does, nothing in the hand. But when it comes to this rotation at the shoulder, if you just pull this back a bit, you could go as far as 360. Just got to clear that. So that's a good design choice. I kind of like that. There's no waist swivel or ab crunch. Your thigh goes out to there, your hip. If you mess with this, you could go all the way up to there. It goes out. So it's a pretty good design choice on how they designed that. The knee goes past the 90, which works. Thigh swivel, and then the foot, it's up and down, and you got some side to side, which it's really tight. I'm not going to mess with it, but obviously we had to do that for the transformation. It's just so tight. When it's that tight, I don't really want to mess with it. I just want to get her to stand. And of course we have the heel spur, which all works. For accessories, of course, we have the guns we've already seen, but they can store in their hand or on her back. And that's the thing. That's how that goes. Different guns too. And the toy version of mine feels like it stands better than the prototype version. Not sure if it's just a me thing or if it's a whatever, but I don't know why that gun looked like that gun, but maybe it was just in line with none of the guns really matching the screen accuracy. Or maybe it's that none of the animators matched the toy gun looks because they wanted the guns to look cooler. Oh, now I can't get her to take that pose again. All right, take two. This is a comparison of them with the 1986 squad and crew, and it's so much fun. So I figured since I still got him up here, I could do it right because I forgot to flip his wings around the first go around. Re-filming all this for that. They fit in fine. They look good. If they were made back in the day, this is how they would look. This is how your 86 shelf would look. For me, I had none of these back in the day. None of them. I had a Rodimus, but not an actual hot rod. I didn't have any of these. So these are all still new to me as an adult, in a way. I mean, I've had the other ones for like a decade, or almost two. But Arcee, had they made her back in the day, would they have sold? Probably not. One last comparison shot. This is either iGear or I think it's Impossible Toys or iGear. One of those two. I think it's Impossible Toys, actually. Notice the yellowing from 10 years of sitting in a dark closet. And then this one is either 30th anniversary, one of the iterations of Arcee that's come along over the years. And they're all pretty close for the most part. But there are some options for Arcee. And then lastly, we're going to get into the masterpiece. And the masterpiece is right here. Why is she not wanting to stand? Now this is the KO upgraded version because she doesn't have the chest shelf, the breast shelf. She actually has breasts. So it works. Lastly, they do come with cards. You can have your red decoder and instructions and whatever the booklet is, and stickers and decals. I'm not putting any of that on. None of the stickers are getting put on because I don't want to do that to them. Although it probably would look way better with some stickers on. I have to admit. But I want to keep it as original OG as possible. That's just how I'm doing mine. You can do yours however you want. Alright, so this is my look at the Missing Link Arcee from Takara, and the prototype, and the standard, and I hope they don't fall, but very good job. They look great. You're not getting modern level engineering either. You're getting a little bit of updates to what the prototype would have been, and it's what I want. Would you have wanted one exactly one-to-one to what the prototype would have been? I don't know if anyone wants that, but maybe that's something Hasbro could put out down the road as for like a $30 figure. These are a bit pricey. I think they're like $85 each, something along those lines, and so I will have a link down where you can get yours at Shozy Store. Remember, TH, support the reviewer, helps the channel out, and with that, I will be trying to do almost everything that comes out like this, showing side by side what they both look like. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Of course, like and subscribe. Teddy Ringer out.
Did we have to let him detonate 3/4 of the ship? Seeing as how they would have detonated 4 quarters, I think it was a good choice.
But now how are we gonna get there in this wreck?